Today we are in front of Professor Luigi Luisi. He has been one of the very renowned scholar from ETH, and he has been one of the founders of this visionary of this Cortona week. So to help humanity, especially students and scholars, academia. So we would like to ask Professor Luigi that what was your vision, means the original idea which inspired you to get to launch this Cortona week?
Well, if we look at the situation in the world today, we see a lot of destruction and negativity, wars and epidemic, but also the ecology is in great danger. And all my colleagues, scientists, write article about something terrible happens to animal or to coral reef and in this situation, it's particularly important to have, on the contrary, a community of people who do believe that a better world is possible. And Cortona is one of this community, and people who come here, originally they were, in the first year, they were mostly students, PhD students. And actually the Cortona Week has been created for PhD students because graduate students are the future leaders of the tomorrow. They will be the director of chemical companies, or will be in the parliament making laws, or will be medical doctors. And so it's important to give these young people some good indication of how the tomorrow should be. And that's why we put so much emphasis to the awareness, to consciousness, so that they know that, for example, the problem of pollution is not only a chemical problem, but is also a clinical problem, a problem of traffic, a problem due to the great consumption of fuel and so they should be able to see what we call the systems view of life, namely that many different disciplines are connected together. And if you have this systemic view, you also see that in order to solve the problem, you must have a kind of systemic solution. So not work only one things, but try to work 3, 4 at a time. And that's actually what also we do with our workshops here, with the idea that they should learn the basic notion of, not only science, but also it's important for us is also spirituality, meant also in a lay form. So you don't have to go to church every day or every week, but you have to feel responsibility for nature and for the things of around you. And of course, Cortona Week is only very tiny things, and we would like to extend it, to make 10, 100,000 Cortona in all the world. But that will be probably very difficult and not for my lifespan, but maybe somebody after me, somebody else, because the multiplication of these positive communities is the only way we can go ahead in the future. And that's why this Cortona week is important not only for itself, but as an example of how healthy community can survive in this ugly world.
Being an accomplished scientist in ETH, it's not very easy to emphasize, bring in spirituality into, seriously consider spirituality into this kind of program.
Yeah.
When did you get idea that spirituality is important? Do you have it from the very beginning of your life, or you saw in between about spirituality?
What is the question? How did I arrive there?
Being a scientist, when did you
Yes,
recognize the importance of
it
spirituality?
happens actually in a very, for me, historically clear way. I was already a teacher at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology. I had a group working on chemistry, and the work was going well, but I felt that something was missing. And then I saw an advertisement of that was the first conference in the world between science and spirituality. And that was in Alpbach in Austria, a small village, in 1982. And I decided to go there and participate. And to do so, I did it without telling my colleagues or telling my students, because they would not have, in those times, if you are a scientist, but you say, I go to a meeting on spirituality, you are lost, you lose credibility. And so I went, and that was a turning point for me, because that meeting was exceptionally beautiful. There was the Dalai Lama, and there was people like Fritjof Capra and Francisco Varela and David Bohm, the physicist, and musicians, and so we were going from one conference on physics by David Bohm to another one on spirituality by Brother David Standerust, and people there were very, excited and at the same time confused, too much. But I thought that that was the way to offer young people. And in my mind began to arise the idea of making the same for my student, the ETH. And so I prepared a plan with, talks based on the example of Alpbach and workshops. And then I began to look for money, because, if you invite people you have to pay their expenses, and that was very hard. For 1-2 years I didn't find, although Switzerland is a very rich country, but they say, oh, beautiful idea, but don't ask for money. And then finally somebody told me, there is this millionaire, Branko Weiss, have you tried with him? And I said, no, I don't know him. So I call him. So I called this famous millionaire, and I said, I need an hour of your time to discuss an project. You say, an hour? Are you crazy? Really say, I can give you 15 minutes. And I say, okay, I come. And 15 minutes were enough, because he was an open-minded person, had already thought of something similar, but he never had the capability of, making a plan really. And so at the end, at the very short discussion, say, how much money do you need? And I say, to start, 70,000 francs. And he said, no problem, go, you have it. and so.
What is the name of this great man?
Brankovic. He died maybe 10 years ago, and he was, a millionaire and a right wing, and I was the opposite, coming from a kind of anarchic family. But we were good friends, and something. When he was dying by cancer, and I went to visit him, and I knew that he was dying. And so, he said the usual things you say to people who die. And then we said goodbye, and I was at the door, and he said, "Luigi, come here." I went back, and he wanted a kiss on the cheek. And that was he left actually a lot of money for a meeting in India. And that was Cortona, India in 2009 or something like that. He died in that year, he couldn't come. But was we paid the travel and board expenses to all Indian graduate students. And was close to Delhi, I don't remember the name of the city. We arrived when there was a marriage there with 2,000 people all around, and we couldn't understand where did we come, but that was the good beginning. And the end of the story is that this millionaire was also a member of the board of the Polytechnic School, because he had given several million. And then he paid the Cortona week for 4 or 5 years, and then he told the ETH school, "You should now pay." And they had to accept it. Partly at that time was already rather famous things. Students were very happy to come. There was a long waiting list. And so it all started, and the ETH paid for the first 25, 30 years. Then a new rector came from Germany and said, "No more Cortona, is enough of this money in Italy." Well, why in Italy? And that was 2017, and we didn't have any more money. And we decided to go on trying to find money from donation, and it was a very hard time. And each year it's a danger to finish because of we don't find the money. And also this year was a lot of troubles. But we keep going, and next year maybe we do something together with these people here, and they're very generous and good and very capable. They do their own workshops anyway, so we can combine their and ours and see. Yeah.
When was the first Cortona organized, and first Cortona conference?
1985. Yeah. 83 was the Alpha meeting, and then I looked 2 years for money, and 2 years later I did find money, and I started. And I remember that I looked, around I went to Germany to look for workshop leaders, chosen one by one, and it was immediately a great success for the students, and also professors were at the beginning, but then some of them came and were very happy to be there. Yeah.
Did you have any further communication with David Bohm? Because David
Yes.
Bohm became very famous later.
Yes, I invited him also Cortona #1.
Okay.
And at that time we didn't have email or internet, so I called him New York. And my secretary said, Dr. Bohm at the telephone. And I say, would you like to come to, a Renaissance place in Cortona, close to Assisi? I say, yes. And so that was. And then I called Francisco Varela in Paris, and so it started #1 by telephone. But I always say, thinking that at that time we didn't have internet, and it's almost incredible.
David Bohm came some about conference.
He got very. So it means it is very nowadays very strange. First time you hear and say yes.
Yeah. Really, another board.
He knows you that time, who is calling? He knows you from that place, or he just.
Who?
David Bohm.
Yeah, he was there too, yeah. But he was not a great speaker. He was a very modest man with not, and so was talking soft and not in a very exciting, contrary to his books, were very exciting and beautiful, but when he talked, he was not a great speaker.
Can you recollect some of the distinguished speakers from the different Cortona conferences?
The thing which really made impact in your thoughts.
Thoughts in Cortona made difference.
Yeah, I met so many great people, and that is already something that that makes you feel better, but also a little wiser, perhaps. Still, my main problem is impatience. I get angry and, well, because I have my ideas and there is always somebody ready to steal it or to do it.
Somebody not agreeing to your plan.
Very much so, yeah.
What is, do you still have connection with ETH? Some people come from ETH, or it is like any other university, anonymous. Do you still have connection with ETH? That's Swiss.
Yeah, the ETH is, I try to contact the new rector and they were very kind with good words. And but when you talk to money or to do something together, no. So the university in Italy, in Europe, are very rigid structures. And I try to get in contact with the University of Perugia, where there is a university for non-Italians. And even there, they say, oh yes, good idea. We will discuss it next Senato Academic, next meeting in 3 months, and then let you know what happens. It's all like that, very bureaucratic but still I will continue to try to contact universities in Italy, Europe, to see whether they can send people so that the number of students increases in the next year. This year we didn't have many, maybe 20, 25 students, maybe 30, but well, there were 12 American and 10 Italians.
How do you reconcile different worldviews in the Cortona conference? Because as when we add spirituality, there are different worldviews. There are different worldviews, different views. How do you harmonize?
Yeah, I don't try to harmonize at all, in the sense that it is good to hear different point of view, and different points of view don't need to be in contrast to each other. Like somebody talk about science, like Fagin, and then somebody else talk about God. The one is not against the other. Actually, the person should see how the two things go together, or they touch in somehow. So it's welcome the difference in point of view, and I hope we will go on this way, the next year. Of course, I begin to be of a certain age where I should be replaced by somebody else, but I don't see anybody. Will be a problem. But, yeah.
So that's should try to identify anybody.
He is saying eventually I should be replaced by somebody, but I'm still not found somebody.
Yeah, it's not easy because there is no salary, and you have to spend month and month looking for people and look at the program of other congress to see who is doing something new. And
this year the speakers were very good. You have selected very nicely. I think you have done a lot of homework, hard work, and each speaker is different and very good in their field. Thank you for the speakers. This year is very good.
Very different areas, one from different perspective, completely different.
yeah.
Thank you.
You are quite different perspective, yes. Yeah.
So last 40 years around, 35, 40 years.
40 years, yeah. Next year will be 40 anniversary.
Right. So what is the most, out of all these Cortonas, is some specific things which has touched you over the years internally, you feel really very like this, I really like that, those things, those something which touched you?
I don't know how to answer that. Each Cortona has been a new experience, and been one better than the other. And I do remember people, teachers who are not with us anymore because of age. And for that I still have, that's why I want to do this book, to also have the picture of people in the first years, so to have a kind of archive of from the very beginning to now. But it's a feeling of general expansion, but and as I said, knowing so many people who are so different from each other give you a sense of relativeness, and to be patient, which I am not, but the idea is there.
But you look very patient and cool. Behind, not behind. But you are from the conference point of view.
I'm not very well physical in this period. She knows, she is my nurse, the best of all, but still I'm not perfect.
Yeah, you are right.
Your book, Systems View of Life, with Fritjof Capra.
Sorry.
So, how did you get this idea of Systems View of Life?
Well, I met Fritjof Capra in Alpak when he was, already famous for his book, The Tao of Physics, but not quite. So not many people knew him. And we met, we knew each other, and we said then, 40 years ago, we should write a book together. And then, we never come that, and only when 5-6 years ago we said, now, he sent a kind of sketch, I amplify that, And so you begin to write the first chapter, I write this, but it took 2 years of mail exchange to make this book, which was, however, I must say, a great success in the sense that also in Italy, people who were working in the field of complexity began to consider this book as a kind of basic notion to start with. And so many, some colleagues of mine who had made a lot of notes, in the page, and that give you satisfaction to see that, what you have written is taken seriously. But in the States was a kind of bestseller. In Italy, they sold 3,000-4,000 copies of this very expensive 35 euro, and that they say that was the editor was Massimo Mercati, the one who talked about the second day. Aboca.
Okay. About, he talked about? Okay, have you heard? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. He's the director of a very important pharmaceutical company in Italy, Aboca. And they work, they say, with no synthetic chemistry, only from plants. And
so you feel great satisfaction in your heart after organizing almost 40 Cortona weeks, that you have helped humanity to some extent?
well, I look at the world today with rather pessimistic view because, if you look at Trump or Biden or, Netanyahu or, Putin, you see only people, like 2, 3, 4,000 years ago wanted power and want to kill the others, the enemies. And I think that in terms of spirit have evolved very little or not, contrary to the technological progress which I Skyped, very highly. And so that, if man does not progress in terms of wisdom or spirit, we will remain always like that with wars and, the idea of having finally peace in all the world is to me, if man remains the way he is, it's impossible.
What are the three points or three essential spirit of Cortona you want to convey to the future Cortona organizers? You understand?
Very good point. Very good question.
What are the three important?
Three, I don't know, three, but
Whatever, 3 or 2 or what, I'll just say number. 100. 100 is much welcome. For the future organizer of Cortona, what do you want to convey?
I think we should increase the number of students, not to go from 80 to 100, but to increase the percentage of young people, because it's mostly to them that we try to talk, the leader of the future. And I would like in the next year, if I can, if I'm strong enough, to have the collaboration of more university in Europe. Each one should send 5, 10 students, so that to have a total 30, 40 students from different parts of the world. And that's one of my future points. But as I said, I don't know whether, it takes energy, it takes time, and it's not easy. Particularly because universities are very rigid structure.
Is it possible if we offer scholarship to come and go and like that?
Yeah.
then also they won't cooperate. Suppose we say, we write to institute that we have 5 scholarships for your university for participating in this.
Yeah, even this year we had 10 grants where students had to pay only one half, to pay 250 euro instead of 1,000. And so each year we have grants, but still the number of students is much lower than we would like to have. So that's why I said we had at least 10 grants, and so 12 Americans, so it should be 20, anyway.
Okay, any other points? So two things he mentioned, students, and he wants more from university participation and more students. Any other thing for future?
Regarding the program of Cortona.
For speakers, workshops, or any program?
Yeah, the workshop, they will be different.
Because after 10 years it may be something different, but what is the thing you want them to keep in the mind?
The workshop should be a little different because what is missing, for example, is the contact with nature, like gardening or trees, or even architecture, to go around with somebody who explains to you how and why this monastery. And there is even somebody who wants to do yoga for the eyes, because we use so much the eyes for the screen. But aside from that, for me is more important the contact with the things that the young people don't do anymore in the school, like music and poetry and creativity and this kind of things. Because if we need more a new workshop, I think we should not go toward computer and more. We should go back to the basic things of nature which we are forgetting totally. Like gardening or flowers or this kind of thing. Computer you learn anyway in the school, in life. But the things of, the basic thing of nature, nobody is going to teach you. And that's why Cortona may have this important role of, learn how to do a flower.
Today in our group we have heard one nice thing that Sweden and Estonia, they banned all electronic from school. No more computer for teaching.
Yes.
That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, there is also in Italy a tendency to eliminate the smartphone from the schools. Yeah.
Not only smartphone, computer in teaching. No computer in teaching.
Yeah.
They eliminate everything. That is, looks like maybe good thing. Another thing I read a couple of days ago about gardening, that those who are unable to sleep, there is some research what helps, and the conclusion came is gardening. One prescription for everybody who are unable to sleep. What is the solution? Gardening is the solution.
The sleep is becoming a big problem among young students.
Sleeping.
So when we go around in India, when we go to universities, the directors of the university tell us that students don't sleep in the night. They keep on watching the mobile.
Yeah.
And whole night, 3, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, they are just watching.
Yes.
Sleep has become.
But that's, a kind of autism, we call it when you lose contact with reality and to have your own world made of illusion. And maybe you don't, but the number of suicidal young people increases enormously. And strangely enough, more in North Europe, like Sweden and Finland, and And because of this, probably this lack of contact with real nature, you live only in this world of virtual reality, which does not give you enough.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to you for listening.
With you so that we remember this.
Oh, okay. This you can give.
Yeah, we have one.
One small
Please
gift.
sit down, sit down.
Oh,
And,
You are doing so good work for humanity. A small gift.
I do it. I put it right away. No, but I should be in the
in the
middle.
middle, yes,
Yes. Yes.
yes. You have to, yes.
Yes.
You share.
Yeah, but this one you should